Welcome to Channel AMEC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your migration consultant in the air on internet. Now today I would like to share with you about this regional visa, the subclass 491. Now this will be a series of different state and nomination requirements, so I'll have a series of videos in coming up weeks to explain one by one with different states requirement and their criteria. So I would like to start today with the 491 with the state of Victoria. Victoria, they do not have much of detailed requirement in compared to a lot of different other states where they have 491 and they have different type of streams and it goes really berserk. So nowadays, due to all the regional state requirements, the regional visa has become very complicated and complex. So I would like to take opportunity in this channel to actually share all this information. So today, let's start with Victoria. Now, Victoria obviously is where Melbourne is. So if you haven't been to Victoria, it's a nice state. And it has a lot of beautiful building there, and it's one of the state that has the most migrants who have been there. Now, one thing in regards to regional Victoria, based on the postcodes, it shall be around 40 minutes to an hour away from Melbourne CBD. So you can either go west, east, or north. So either way, once you reach those you drive, that's about the areas, but detailed postcode you can refer to, you probably just Google Home Affairs designated regional postcode and you can find the detailed postcode. So it's a lot. So there's about possibly about hundreds of them, so I won't go into detail, but today's video I'll go into what we need to know and how you can qualify yourself to get state nomination for Victoria as a state under the subclass 491. Now, under the Immigration Act, based on the Act, it accepts almost any occupations. So that's the occupation combined with the medium and long term and also the regional. So it's actually covering almost every single occupation. So occupation from ENSCO starting with 1 and 2 and also 3. And 4 and 5, no. 4 and 5 are generally used by DAMA, D-A-M-A, which is not the topic that we're going to cover today. So if you have studied abroad in Australia, basically you will probably find yourself within that occupations, and nowadays obviously you cannot using those occupations, or you can, but it's going to be very hard to actually migrate into urban city or CBD area like Brisbane, Sydney, or Melbourne. But if you want to go to designated regional, almost any occupation is open. So the criteria for Victoria is open for any occupation, but obviously they will have their own criteria here. So basically it reads here, let's have a look. Let me move the screen over a bit so it's in the middle. Okay, so it says Victoria welcome nomination application for skilled work regional provisional visa subclass 491, which allows point tested skilled workers and their family to live, stay, and work, study and work in the designated regional area of Australia for a period of 5 years. So once you get approved of this 491 visa, you get 5 years of visa. Now, within this 5 years, as long as you continue to work, being employed, and obviously you get tax, evidence of tax being shown with the minimum annual wage of $53,900, 3 years continually, you'll be able to apply for subclass 191, which is a permanent residency visa. Now goes on is skilled work regional provisional visa. Subclass 491 is a provisional point tested visa to assist regional visa to access people with skill, need, and grow and thrive. This visa is for people who wish to settle in regional Australia and have an occupation which is high demand in Australian labour market. The visa is administered by the Department of Home Affairs. Now, eligibility, let's have a look what is required from you if you're interested about going to designated regional area in Victoria. What do you need? So obviously the state welcomes it. To receive 491 nomination from Victoria, you need to meet the following. Now, first of all, before we begin, obviously you need to meet the mandatory requirement from the Department of Home Affairs, which is the age, competent English, and skill assessment. Okay, so these three you have to meet there. Then we go into the state. Okay, so age, you have to be below 45 years of age. You have to have a competent English, so which these two actually matches to what the Department of Home Affairs requires. All the applicants have IELTS test, which is International English Language Test System, of at least 6 across all the bands, or alternatively you can take either OET, TOEFL, PT Academic, Cambridge English, or Advanced CAE. So whichever test. Now people now prefer PTE because it's computer based, it's easier, and you get quicker result within two days, I believe, because traditionally IELTS do take 2 weeks, but I do know starting from Australia and New Zealand, IELTS test will be moving into computer-based platform, so you will get your result very sooner than before, and also the test taking time is way less. So in my video under the description, you may find IELTS test link. Once you click it, you'll be able to find the computer base, and you choose whatever the city you are in the testing center that you can pick and basically enroll there. You'll be able to take the test there. I do see some feedback from some clients and friends. They feel it's quite comfortable because it only take half day, I believe. Half day you finish all read, write, speaking, and listening. So it's quite good. And then 2 or 3 days later you get the result. I think that's brilliant. Okay, there's a note here. It says if you're a citizen of the USA, UK, Canada, Republic of Ireland, New Zealand, you do not require to submit English language tests. However, if you are still required to do it for the purpose of Department of Home Affairs, so the state might not require, but you still need it. So I think this statement is a bit of redundant. So you still need to take it, otherwise you won't be able to fit into the immigration's criteria. Now, occupation-wise, to apply for Victoria nomination, your occupation must be listed in Commonwealth Skill Occupation List. So if you click on that link there, or you basically go to Google and type in Home Affairs space Skill Occupation List, you probably can find them, and they are generally everything. Okay, as long as you have picked an occupation that is within NSCO skill level 1, 2, and 3, which is a managerial, a senior managerial role, professional roles, and the diplomat role, which is a medium managerial role, and that also covers other trades, for example, chef, cooks, plumbers, electricians, those different roles. That's a different area, but you're still required to get skill assessment done as well. Okay, now the state of Victoria wants you to show them money, so you are required to have 20,000 not to be deposited into a state treasury, but you need to show that in your bank account. So if you only got one person, 20,000. If you got additional, and that's onshore, okay, so that's all you need to do. If you're offshore and if you have dependents, for example, your spouse, wife, partner, kids, okay, if you got only one, yourself is 30,000. So if you're in Australia, it's less money, 20,000. That's all you require required to do. If you're offshore, you need to bump it up to 30,000. If you got one dependent or two dependent, each one of them adding 5 grand on top of the required 30,000. Now, if you got 6 or more, then 80,000 is the maximum. Now, that's a bit extreme. I haven't seen any one or client who has 6 or more. That's a bit hard. Okay, by the way, because of the age requirements less than 45, unless you reaching about 44, you got 4 kids. Good, but generally for the skill migration, it's you probably maximum will be hitting about 3. Anyway, it's open for the if you're interested in your family structures like that, that's fine. So another thing that's required and which is not required by the Department of Home Affairs is the offer of employment. So you need to have an offer of employment which would demonstrate that you will be actually working for the employer in that designated regional area in Victoria. So you need to have a confirmation of employment statement. So I'm not too sure what this will show. So let's click on it and see how it shows. Does it give a sample confirmation employment statement? Okay, let's have a look if it shows a sample here. Oops, it jumps into a Word file, which is I'm not able to have a look at this point in time, but it does have a sample here. So if you do have that interest, let me know if you can't find the link. Comment below. I will send the link direct to you straight away. Okay, and you need to have a signed contract. So not just the offer. So the employer has to sign a contract with you, which include the employer's Australian business number. So that's generally shows the lawfulness and legal status of that business and official position description. So they need to tell. They cannot just offer you a job, but they need to tell in black and white on paper that what sort of position it is and the detailed description of that position. For example, you can't have an employer running a hospitality business, a restaurant, and trying to hire an IT cybersecurity guy. That just won't make a sense. So you need to have that detail in there. You can't just say, I would love to get this guy to come into my workplace and work. Now, the employment and the skill occupation has to match. That's what it tries to clarify. You cannot have an engineering firm looking for a chef, okay, or looking for a baker. That won't fit. Okay, now bear in mind all these employment has to be in designated regional area in Victoria. Now the employment offers must be have a full-time offer for at least 12 months. Okay. And it has to be genuine. It has to show that there's a commitment for at least the business structure and the accounts or financials has to be fit strong enough to demonstrate that at least next 2 years that the business can offer that job for you. So again, that requires demonstrating of your financials, tax details. I mean the employer's tax detail. And the genuine need, I'll basically follow the structure of the labor market testing structure that the Department of Home Affairs has structured. So the business has to demonstrate that they have posted jobs, pay post job ads, either online or offline or on newspaper, and they need to demonstrate that they have received numbers of different CVs, and they identify that there's no such a skill can be found in the regional area or that locations. Okay, so you need to demonstrate all that to the state, so to the government of state of Victoria State. Genuine intention to live and work. So basically, if you have a job, that will match all that requirement. Now I doubt why they put skill assessment down here. It should put up there because it should go just right after age and English, because that's 100% required. So you need to get that skill assessment done. So without skill assessment, you cannot do any skill type of visas in Australia. So whatever you require, if you have interest, let's get skill assessment done. Because if you have no skill assessment, no positive skill assessment, we're basically everybody's wasting time. Okay, you get skill assessment done, so we know that your skills and your work experiences has met the requirements of the Australian skill standards of your occupation. Okay, now at the end will be a declaration that basically just sign that you definitely live and stay in Victoria. You will not leave. You will not do something that the state doesn't want you to do, and you provide a CV. So that CV will have a sample as well. Let's click on it. Again, it goes into a Word document. Anyway, if you can't find the sample or the link, comment below. I'll be able to send you the sample there. Now, finally, you get nominated by. Once you get approved, you get invited by Department of Home Affairs to get that lodged. So the process is quite simple. So what you're required to do, obviously, my recommendation is not just to put an EOI, expression of interest, first. First thing first, you get skill assessment done, so at least we can confirm that your skill is at the standards of the requirement from the Department of Immigrations. And then obviously you get your employers, you get the IELTS, you get all these things ready, and let's put an EOI into the system. Now, bear in mind, we need to select Victoria, and once we get that done, they will generate a sequence of your EOI reference number, and then what we need to do is get all these documents ready and goes into the Victoria's website and submit the nomination applications. And obviously, the good thing about this is there's no fees. Okay, that's good. And then once we launch, they'll assess everything. And once that's approved, then you will be notified approval, and you'll be able to lodge a visa through Department of Home Affairs. Now, bear in mind, at this point in time, we believe that the Department of Home Affairs is prioritizing 491, so it should be going quite quick. Now, with the state of Victoria, they take 12 weeks, so possibly longer than what the immigration will require, but that's the timing that they're giving us. So once that's all done, you get your visa. Now that is the way the whole 491 visa for the state of Victoria. Now it's quite attractive, so you can actually do it offshore or onshore. There is no selection of particular occupation or prioritizing a particular occupation, as long as your occupation has a job offer in or any places or any location of designated regional Victoria, then you will be able to do this. So it's actually quite good. So I will advise a lot of if you're a graduate and you're on the graduate work visa for 485 visas, start traveling around, find jobs in regional Victoria, and once the job matches your occupation, then there's an opportunity, and you continue to work there. Apply for 491, you'll be able to reach your permanent residency goal. And that's our video for today, and the coming up series will continue rolling into Queensland, New South Wales, Tasmania, ACT, and Western Australia, and obviously Northern Territory. So stay tuned and consider to subscribe to get more Australian visa insights. I see you at the next video. Goodbye.